So here it is, once again, me, your boy, the man, NJ to the city with the number 2 and ZO. So, two things to get into coaching and teachers. Here's the thing teachers, God bless you all. Here's the thing I don't understand about teachers. I don't understand how, or not just teachers, but more so teachers in the state of our education system. I don't understand how, because I've told you plenty of times. I do a lot of research on school reviews, a lot of research, and let alone have friends in these schools still telling me horror stories. So I want people to understand this. I don't understand how, in God's name, elementary schools, at least most elementary schools that I've heard about, I don't understand why does it seem like, in most of the ones that I've done my research on, why does it seem like most elementary schools seem to have everything figured out, but it seems like most middle schools and high schools are the ones that are suffering with no end in sight. And I mean, in terms of, maybe I'm completely wrong with both those opinions, but from the research I've done, it seems like a lot of elementary schools seem to have, their stuff together. They seem to have it figured out. But that's probably because they go out of their way to hire a bunch of, funny, crafty, silly teachers. And I mean silly in a compliment of way of which you know how to, be goofy with the kids. You know how to, appease them, and so on. And again, I mean in a complimentative way. I don't mean it in an insulting way at all. But that's probably why. If any slash most elementary schools are thriving and succeeding, it's probably because of that. It's probably because of that, I would say, because they go out of their way to truly hire, fun, loving, crafty, cunning, creative, friendly, silly, etc., positive, that all that stuff. I that's what I'm gonna personally say. I probably have no clue what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm gonna go with that. Forgive me if it sounds like I just cursed there, but gonna go off on that limb. But it seems like for middle schools and high schools, you can look up a school review after school review and find horror story after horror story of bullying, harassment, neglect. Teachers don't care. And deans and principals are doing everything they can to drag you through the mud and make your life worse. I've done the research and I'm just disturbed. Why does it seem, and I don't know if this is true or factual, accurate. I know it is from the research I've done, but forgive me if well, I'm going off my research I've done. If you have other opinions, then God bless. Hopefully, we can connect these eventually and compare and contrast and see what's factual versus what's flutter. I don't understand why all these teaching videos that I've watched on YouTube about all these teachers about loving school or whatever they do, because even another YouTube video that I watched, I've watched quite a couple, and actually quite a few bad elementary schools in terms of how these elementary school kids are absolutely, as they kind of would call them, little demons. Because I've watched plenty of videos saying where, and these are videos like that made local news, better yet. Local news, unless you want to now say your local news is full of flutter. These are like interviews that your local news did with these local teachers, complaining about. These are elementary school kids doing a bunch of loud outbursts, a bunch of scratching, clawing, beating each other up, throwing, just wrecking entire classrooms, and so on and so on. But I guess for most of the elementary school research I've done, if not, really hasn't been a ton, but it's definitely been quite some. It seems like, or at least the videos that I watch on somebody first about some of these elementary school teachers, at least the fun ones that are. It seems to me that for some odd reason, why does it seem like the elementary schoolers, seem to have most of their stuff together and figured out, while it's the middle schools and high schools that are just fighting for control over their students. And I mean fighting for control, that means fighting to suppress their students, fighting to demonize, degrade their students, and fighting for their students to fit in one bias mode fits all, to pretend, or so they can, so they don't have to accommodate anybody. But yet it seems like elementary schools are just free and fun and filled with passion and warmth and caregiving and love and desire to actually be there and do your job, and and so on and so on. So anybody out there watching this from any level of K through 12, this is from the research I've done. So please do not get offended by anything I'm saying, because this is from the research that I've done, and I do research pretty much every single day on these topics, if not every week, a few times every week on these topics. I just don't understand why it seems like most elementary schools seem to have their game together, or most elementary schools seem to run the game, while most middle schools and high schools seem to be trapped in the game, and try to run game on their students, you know, and so on. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But I think that if my analysis is true, it's probably because the elementary schoolers are the elementary schools are the ones that are truly going out of their way to hire fun-loving, charismatic, silly, goofy, teachers that know how to connect with kids. That's probably why, if that analysis is even remotely true, it's probably because a lot of elementary schools are going out of their way to hire those types of teachers that are fun-loving, goofy, silly, full of hospitality, and truly want to nurture these children as, dare I say, possibly their own, and so on. While the middle schools and high schools are not doing that, they're probably just hiring people to fill the position, and that's probably the top reason why. The middle schools and high schools are just hiring people to fill the position with no quality of character and at all. Because I mean, how many reviews I've read where it said that how many reviews I've read where it literally kept saying middle school and high school teachers and faculty and staff are just there for paychecks and they don't care. I just don't get it. But then I promise you, these are the same people that are up there marching on Washington or marching on the state government demanding, we want more pay, we want more pay. For doing what? For abusing kids, using kids, neglecting kids, demonizing kids, making kids feel like they just are worth nothing. Like I said before, I got the magic touch. How do I know that? Or a magic speech. How do I know that? Because, like I said before, I don't even have to spend 5 minutes with a kid to inspire them for a lifetime. I have been there too many times where I've been around kids where I talked to them just for like 2 minutes, let alone 30 seconds, and I inspired them for their whole day, let alone let a lasting impact on them, for a long time where, again, yep, they know who that guy is, NJ to the City, he's so inspiring, literally. And all I did was say some of the most, I would say, common sense things about how they how to use this and that for fuel, and how to believe in themselves and how to navigate life, let alone how to be better with their friends. And it literally didn't take nothing but probably I try to go off on as many expansive conversations with the kids as possible, but I would definitely say more so I've done it where, trust me, it only took 30 seconds. I've been in conversations with kids where it only took 30 seconds to boost their confidence, and just light them up with passion, to want to do better. I've been there where it only took 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds, if dare I even say more so 10 seconds. You name the time. It didn't take minutes, or didn't have to take minutes. I've done it in minutes, but trust me, it's taken seconds. And I'm telling you, if I'm that good with kids and people, why can't you be? And trust me, it's not that you can't have the magic touch too. Trust me, all you got to do is get to know Jesus Christ, and you will get more out of life. Get to know Jesus Christ, and He will enhance your speech, and He will absolutely, give you more definition to your existence. Trust me. If you would have asked me, get to know Jesus Christ today. And once again, I'm not a teacher by any God-first, extenses, or I just think I just made that word up. I'm not a teacher telling you this whatsoever. I am really just a fan of all these kids telling you this, a community supporter telling you this, from all the conversations I've had with kids on several different occasions. God, first one was a shame on that. Let alone, as I've said countless times before on multiple other videos, ladies and gentlemen, I specialized in mentoring freshmen and sophomores, let alone mentoring really everybody, but particularly mentoring freshmen and sophomores, going out of my way, particularly to mentor freshmen and sophomores at Nice when I was there as a school student. I particularly, and that's what I'm trying to express to people. I'm not new to youth development. I'm not new to encouraging kids. I'm not new to giving them hope, healing, and inspiration. I'm not new to it. I specialized in this during my time in Nice, and I still specialize in it during my time now as just a regular community supporter. Even though if anybody were to ask about me, I'm obviously not a regular because, and I mean in regular terms, I'm a regular towards my support, but I'm not a regular in terms of how I give my support. I'm very one of a kind with it, is how a lot of people would describe me, and so on and so on. But I love these kids. These kids are my little brothers and little sisters of the next generation through Christ. And I'm telling you, that's the swagger that I carry with myself every day. That's the passion that I push out there on the world. And that's exactly what I am, the leading, face of this next generation for, and so on and so on. I want more kids to be inspired, to be encouraged, to be God first, whatever you God first want to be, do God first, what you're trying to do. It's not hard. It's reality, and it's real life that you have to want to live, and grow and prosper with. But I do think it's really amazing because, yes, I'm not an official licensed teacher whatsoever, but I'm giving you these takes from my research, let alone my groundwork that I've done in the community here and there with the kids and their parents to indeed get down to where I can help, let alone, to evaluate what I've already done to help, and etc. And these kids love and rave about me for it, and their parents as well call me a super fan for it. Yeah, I'm a super fan of your child because I believe in your child through my everything. They are my everything. Supporting your child is my everything. Being out there to encourage your child that they are a superstar, just like their big brother NJ to the City, but they got to shine in their own light, to bring about their own awareness and build their own legacy is exactly what I'm there to do. And so on and so on. Now, should I be a teacher? Can I be a teacher? Yes and yes. Am I going to be a teacher? Maybe, because I do not know how much I really care to have a biased administration telling me how to do my job, because I've read way too many school reviews about biased administrations, and I really don't know how much I'm into hearing a biased administration tell me how to do my job, tell me how to motivate and support and encourage kids when, dare I say, you do to where it's like, how you gonna tell me how to support, motivate, and encourage kids? Well, everywhere I go, I breathe life into the atmosphere. Everywhere you go, it's a cold dead silence of like, everybody just wants to, fall asleep because you're boring, or whatever the case is. I wouldn't call that trash talk, but that was definitely something. That was definitely a pun there that I wanted to throw out at you. Because the point there is that I'm not into biased people trying to tell me how to do my real life job that I've been excelling at for years. Like I said before, I specialized in mentoring all the freshmen and sophomores at Nice during my time. And I still specialize in doing it now. I'm just not doing it during the school day, But these kids know me, and so on and so on. We have our conversations whenever, wherever, and so on. And I try to do God first, whatever I can, to give them as much tutelage, and wisdom and advice for not only, now, but for the future coming. Trust me, I totally will be something within the education system in terms of payroll. I just don't know what I will be when it comes to it, but trust me, I definitely have a future in the education system, definitely with payroll. But for now, I'm pretty much doing what I'm doing as a, as a community supporter. I do look at myself as a little bit as a teacher, just unofficially licensed. Honestly, when I mean about a teacher just unofficially licensed in terms of like, I don't work for anybody, but I can totally, help these kids with their homework to better understand their classwork, which is what the literature library is all about, other than book donations. So that's kind of what that alleviates to, being a teacher just not being officially licensed for it, to where I don't work in a, in a physical building with, anybody, but at the same time I do everything virtual. That's a better way of saying it, honestly, And I absolutely have no problem with kids sending me their classroom assignments, so I can shoot a video like this, and I can have a whiteboard, and I just explain even deeper in context. Okay, how to understand this, how to understand that, and so on. That's part of what the literature library is. Me helping you with your homework so you can better understand your classwork, and I want kids to absolutely feel comfortable doing that, so I can absolutely still spread any type of godly tutelage and knowledge on them about what I do know about their classwork assignments, because like I say, even though if I didn't make the best grades, I still know how to go deeper in depth with a lot of different things in context. So God bless you, boy, man. NJ to the City out. Peace.